Hey guys, my name is Lauren Spain. I'm Vice President of Student Affairs here at Academy of Art. And today we are going to talk about how to maximize your experience when you go to conferences, when you go to industry events, when you're putting yourself out there in your industry. And who better to do that with than my buddy Robbie, who graduated in, oh my God, what year? 2018?
No, 2021.
2021? 2021. And what was your degree in?
We got the MFA in game de development, specialize in game design.
Specialized in game design. And where are you working now, Robbie?
I work as a at a support studio for Epic Games called High Voltage Software
In Chicago, even though you
in
lived here
Chicago.
in the Bay when you went to school here, right?
Yes, I did. We didn't have anything. We moved into the city and we're like, we're doing this. And we did it.
I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So I want to start a little bit with just your general background. So you decided to choose this new job of yours, actually. It's relatively recent, right? When did you move to Chicago?
6 months ago, as of like a week ago.
Wow, 6 months flies. I remember you being like, guess what? I'm moving to Chicago.
Mhm.
And as a game designer with this studio, tell me just a little bit about like what your day to day looks like. What are you doing? What you can. I know everyone's an NDA these days.
Work in my pajamas. I make my coffee and I sync the project and I'm nice and
I'm just
cozy.
showing off.
It is so nice on the other side, but you do have to freaking grind, and I think that that is not emphasized enough as a student. Yeah, so
So when you first graduated back in 2021, which is now 5 years ago,
yeah.
how long would you say that grind really lasted?
So it started about 6 months before I graduated with starting with the applications and trying to
Oh,
get like
yes.
internships and stuff. And actually, funny story is I had an internship offered for Epic Games, and I had a new email at the time that wasn't set up properly. So I wasn't getting the notifications. And I was like, maybe nobody's using it, right? I checked it like a month after I set it up, a month after I sent out the application. And I had emails from them being like, by the way, are you still interested in this
Oh,
thing?
God.
And by the time I responded, they're like, maybe we'll get you for the next one. And I never had another opportunity to do that.
Oh, crush it. So already we've learned a very important lesson 5 minutes into this talk, which is make sure your email works and that you are getting send yourself test emails before you apply anywhere. Oh my God,
Yeah, yeah.
devastating. I didn't know that.
No, and
Oh,
they actually remembered me for the next one, but I didn't get it in. They were like, "Oh yeah, we remember you," but they picked all the other people, and that
I'm sure they're
actually,
like this flaky guy. He
yeah,
can answer his
right.
own emails.
Yeah. And so I kind of took that as like heat, right? To be like, okay, I had an opportunity and I blew it.
I blew
And
it.
so I was like, I'm not gonna like not make it in this industry at this point because I had the chance. And so I started applying again, like I was saying, like 6 months before I graduated, I had like 150 applications out by the time I got a job. So it was 6 months after I graduated that I finally got my job,
That's
fully
a
remote.
year of applying.
Yes, it is a year
Yep.
of applying. And honestly, that wasn't the most applications, right? 150, there's 365 days in a year. And I was maybe doing like one or two every other day,
And that was
maybe.
5 years ago. Let me tell you, you'd need twice that these
Yeah.
days.
No, I have a more recent experience when I got laid off from that job. Um, so I did work there for 2 years and yeah, I was sweating every day. I ended up in the hospital from like ulcers. Like I was super nervous and like not really taking care of myself because it's like trying to prove myself. And I
Sure.
had it in my head that I had to make it at this job for 2 years. And that was my milestone. I was like, if I can get 2 years of experience in the same location, that could be a huge thing. And it was. That was like the right mindset to have. Um, I shared my job with my boss at that time. So he was a designer also. And it was
Okay.
really hard to disagree with him because he was also the guy that was paying my bills, right? And so if I didn't like what he thought or something and I stood on it, he'd be like, well, your values are wrong because I'm right, right? Like I'm paying your bill. Anyway, it was toxic, but I did what I had
Yeah.
to do. And I made it. And I had a lot of fun and I learned a whole lot in that experience in terms of making games. So that was that experience. And then I got laid off. They started hiring outside of the country for like lower wages or whatever. Um, and so I
What
got
does
laid
that
off.
look like for anyone that has like never been through a layoff experience? So like you go to work thinking that you're doing your job that day, and then what happens?
A new designer appeared on the team, and I was like, "Hey, this guy actually had worked here before. He's the guy that I replaced, actually." Um, and I was like, "Hey, cool that we're gonna have more help." I reached out to my boss. I'm like, "I'm excited to have the design team growing. This is
Oh,
cool." And uh, and so he followed up with me like a month later, and he says, "Oh yeah, so and so really loves working with you. This new guy loves working with you. So we're gonna I interpreted that as they're gonna keep me. And then
yeah.
sure enough, it was like
Just kidding.
a month later, they're like, we need to have a meeting and talk about your value at this company. And I was like, let's just save all the time. It was the 2 year mark. I was like, I just set the date and I was like, let's just make this the last day and I will go. And they were like courteous enough to pay me another month of pay after that
Hell
let
yeah.
go.
We take any severance.
Yeah.
Severance is nice.
Yeah. And it got
Never
to the
guaranteed though.
right. And I was actually applying 6 months before that layoff. Once I saw that new guy get hired, I was like,
Writings on the
I
wall,
yeah.
writings on the wall.
So
Yep.
I started applying and I hit
Okay.
like maybe 140 applications within that first 6 months versus, before I had
Whole year.
150 in the whole year. Yeah. And then within when I did get laid off, it was like ramp up time, right? Like bunch of free time. I hit 340 job applications in the year that I was off, right? So I was like at 365 days in a year, how many am I actually getting out?
Whew.
Um, and then it also really helped to like pinpoint what I was applying to. I started getting more interviews when I aligned the applications to my skills, versus
There
being
we
like
go.
huge umbrella. I was just like applying
Strategy
to
always
everything in
works.
design. Yeah. And it was just like, okay, well, I can actually talk about this stuff. And so there was more follow-up interviews that started happening once I accepted the fact that I am a technical designer, not just a designer, a UX designer, all these other ones. I like really focused in on what I had been specialized on. And for what it's worth, I don't know if everybody knows this, but Res was a huge pivotal instructor person who told me that I was a technical designer before I graduated. He was like, "You are a technical designer," and I didn't really want to like
You're like, no,
focus
I'm
on that.
not.
I'm like, I can do everything. What do you mean? And I actually wanted to be like a programmer also. I had all these big ideas. I didn't realize how much of a person's life could go into a such a specific thing at the time. But anyway, I was told early. I should have known better. Listen to your instructors. And then yeah, sure enough, 340 applications in I started hearing about somebody else from the Academy of Art who was already working at the studio that I'm at now, uh, who told me that you should apply. And there's an opening now. You should apply. And it was like 2 or like 3 month like sort of intervals of like breadcrumbing of like
Yeah.
an opening is now there. And I was like starting to make the connections on LinkedIn, trying to like connect with the people or whatever. And so even though I was pretty sure it was a no at some point, I followed up. It's like, hey, by the way, we had some interviews. I haven't heard back. I'm just wondering if you need my help still. Looking forward to helping out somehow, right? Like,
Ah,
um,
I love it. Your follow up on something can make or break you, you guys,
mhm,
because companies aren't just letting go of the artists and the designers, they're letting go of the back end people too. You might
mhm,
have been working with a recruiter who gets canned, who doesn't have
mhm,
the time to come back and be like, hey, I got canned. And if you don't
right?
follow up, you're
Yeah.
done.
And so what I learned from all that is you have to insist with the
Yes.
follow-ups that you're the right person for the job. That was my mentality on this one. Plus, like a little bit of background is my relationship in San Francisco was also going down the drain, and that person was supporting me. And
Ooh.
they were looking at getting approval for a condo, and they were like, I kind of want you to figure something out. Like, you need to go somewhere else, basically. And so I was like, I need to figure out this job application stuff, and I need to start making the most of these networking events, and really like more than I ever did, right? Because I was gonna have to live with my grandma. I didn't want to
I mean,
do that.
we love grandma, and grandma
Yes.
would have loved you, but
Yeah.
not life
Yeah.
goals post
I
college. I get it.
I also just got used to living out on my own and I didn't want to have to go
I want
backwards.
to go back.
Yeah. And I love
So
her
this
too.
is a
Yeah,
good
she's
segue
yeah.
into
Mhm.
conferencing because
Yeah.
the reason that I thought of you is because you're a hustler. Like you're really, really good at the hustle. And I wouldn't actually label you as someone who desires it, but you do it and you get it done and it yields results because you're persistent.
Hmm.
And it's your persistence and your continuity with follow through and networking that I find most impressive and why I thought you would just be a really good person to walk us through what that's like. So I want to kind of lay this out where we talk about small events. So whether it's like a meetup at the school or growing past that to like a meetup nearby with other people and to the larger scale big events ending kind of at a GDC. So start small scale for me. What are some of the smaller events you started to go to? And what was it like? Did they always work?
Define work. Um,
Did you meet people that you followed up with later?
no, not usually. In most cases, you'll most of the people you meet at any of the events, you're not gonna have a reason to really follow up. You might like rapidly connect through LinkedIn and it's just a plus one on your follower count or whatever. But
Sure.
it doesn't really like contribute much immediately in terms of like first in ways of following up afterward, but also in terms of like getting a job. And I want to say, preface all of this is that attending any networking event should not be about getting
Getting
a
a
job.
job.
It is
Oh,
not.
say
I
it one more
just
time, Robert, for the
it's
people in the
not about
back.
getting a job. It's not about getting a job. So I had somebody at a networking event recently walk right up to me and they have like social anxiety. You can kind of tell they don't do this regularly. This is also why you need to go to these things. Is uh they walked up to me, I don't know, there was just so many things. They were like socially awkward. They didn't do their hair. They just were like just kind of strolled out of bed or something. And they're like, "So I just graduated recently and kind of looking for a job. So do you know anything about that?" And I was like,
Let me do the work for you, kid, who I
yeah,
don't
right.
know.
I was like, dude, you need to like show up to these things because you want to be around your people.
There you
These things
go.
are your
Unity.
people. Yeah, it's like if there's ever a place where you're the cool person, in all the places where you are socially awkward, this is where you're cool. This is where you fit in. These are the conversations that you
Those are your
can
people.
have. Yeah, you can talk about games or you talk about working on them. It's perfectly fine to default to nerding out on all of like the specific stuff that you love working on. Um, and then that passion alone takes you into the steps of like, hey, remember that guy? Like I just got hired and now this company's hiring for this role. And I met a guy at this event and basically that passion is how I ended up where I am right now. So the early events, like the smaller scale ones at least, I was trying to help like promote. There was a small guy, he's actually still in San Francisco. His name is Brian Duteau. He does a lot of game dev mixers. They're literally called game dev mixer. And maybe like 5 or 10 people show up to these things. And they come in from all over, from like San Jose, from like the East Bay and Burbank and just everywhere. And it's kind of crazy. It's like this isn't a widely promoted thing, but I was showing up to these things because they were also happening in San Francisco. And I was like, look, I'm just gonna show up every time because I have nothing that is more important than making my name, getting
Yeah.
myself out there and making those
Yeah.
connections or whatever. And
That's the
it
right
again,
priority.
yeah. And then also being able to talk the talk, like if you can't have the conversation with somebody who's been doing this for years, how likely is it that they're going to hire you? So like I saw all of these things and right, like we have you guys had Sledgehammer come and do some stuff at AAU and I did a
Yep.
couple of those things. And I remember the first one feeling like completely out of place because I didn't know how to talk to these people. And notice how I said these people. It was like they were separate from me and I didn't
Sure.
really know how to like articulate or express my ideas or anything. And so yeah, it was just another thing that just told me I need to like hang out and casualize this experience, demystify game
Mm,
developers who are already in the industry. Um, and so sure enough, these little tiny mixers, at one point we had like Ubisoft headquarters was down there. We had two Ubisoft developers show up at one of these things. And I didn't know that when I was talking to them. I was sitting next to them. We were just eating these appetizers or
oh, so
something like
you
that.
were a human.
I was a human. I saw them as a human. I was like, these
Yeah.
people are probably in the struggle just like I am. That they looked a little bit older, probably not students, but somehow, I just assumed. Or maybe they were
Yeah.
interested in games or something, or maybe investors or something unrelated. I don't know. But we were just talking, and then that just kind of showed me just a step in like once they admitted, they're like, yeah, we work on Ubisoft, we're working on Ghost Recon, I
Jaw
think is,
drops.
yeah. And I was like,
Oh my God. You're living my dream, man.
keep it cool, keep it cool. I remember saying this over and over in my head, and I was like, wait, there's nothing that has changed right now.
Nothing's changed. They're people
Nothing. They
too.
they were the same people that walked in, and and that was like the biggest thing. And so yeah, I connected with them on LinkedIn. Never heard from them again, really. They did end up showing to some other events later, not
Yep.
with the same organizer guys, just some other events. I
Mm.
bumped into another one at GDC.
Small world getting smaller.
Yeah, and it's also San Francisco. Like it's
Yes.
a great bowl from like for like initializing all of that stuff. Um, and actually, this kind of segues into my first like outside of school project experience was one of these events that I showed up to, the game dev mixer thing. I met a producer. He had some production experience, and he was doing a small project. And he saw my passion. I was showing up with my demos on these laptops, and I was like showing up every month, and I was trying to promote them, right? Like I was trying to promote these events, so my name was at the front of these things, right? So people were kind of seeing me or whatever. Anyway, they saw my passion, and like 3 months in a row, I showed up to this thing, and on that third month, technically this had been like a year of showing up to these things. But the third month of seeing the same producer, um, he was like, "Hey, I hear that you're about to graduate, and we kind of want to get something started. And I've seen the stuff that you were working on. I saw your demos. I've already been all over your portfolio, like just all this stuff." And he was just like, "We just kind of want your help, and we can't promise a whole lot of pay or anything, but like it would be great." And so it was my first like having a producer on my team who managed all the tasks. We had daily syncs, and it was like my first time getting up at 8 o'clock every morning just for these things. Like I've gotten up early consistently for other jobs, and they all
Sure.
suck, right? Like
Yeah, of
I was
course.
an apprentice plumber for like
Ah,
a year, and I had to get up at like 4 o'clock with like
an
boots
actual
and mud
shitstorm.
and literal shit. Yeah. And then my boss, who's like Portuguese, like super angry, just being like, you
You
lazy American.
ruined the
Yeah.
pipes.
Yeah. He was actually really just angry at me all the time, and I don't know why. But um it didn't compare to this. I was like, yeah, dude, I can sit at my computer and just like listen to tasks being moved around and provide my input about the stuff that I love doing. Um, and that was like a
Experience.
really, yeah,
Exposure.
yeah. It just, I had a lot of appreciation coming into the opportunity of learning about games to begin with,
Oh,
and just like
gratitude will
realizing,
take you far, you guys.
yeah. But like, has to be authentic. You can't just say I'm grateful. You have to
Yes.
have the experience of like building that appreciation. But yeah, so
So
I was doing
small
these.
events, you're meeting some people, you were less
Mhm,
intimidated when you didn't realize who they were, which
mhm,
means you're not in your head, which means you have
mhm.
more honest, authentic conversation.
Relatability, yeah.
Take me to the middle ground. What's next after a small mixer?
Like game jams, I think would be a pretty big
What if I've
like.
never heard of a game jam before? What is a game jam?
So a game jam is usually there's usually theme based. The theme is usually announced the day of, so people can't plan entire like assets or
Ah, tricky,
packs.
tricky.
Yeah. And then you end up like picking a team or you do it solo. Usually people you have no idea about, right? Like it's really hard to line up your times with just also people that you know. So it's usually people aware of this community or something, whoever's hosting the game jam, and you get a lot of random people. And so you have to learn a lot of like teamwork and communication and task management, prioritizing, showing up, being dependable, all of that stuff and also just being able to communicate your skills up front.
Is that what a game jam really is? Like a practice opportunity.
Yeah, and the strongest networking opportunity. You
Yeah, because
build
people see
this.
in real time if you walk the walk.
Yeah. And so my first experience, for example, I definitely walked the walk. I slept the least. And I got frustrated at one point where like I was like, okay, look, guys, like I am here. It was a week long or whatever, and it was day three, and everybody else was like off sleeping or Disney. I don't know where they were, but and so I was about to walk away, and one of my friends, even today, he's a 3D artist, and he talked me into sticking around. He was the one that was like, and that's when I saw the kind of character that he was. And like the
Hmm.
authenticity and the grit that
Hmm.
he had, and like the willingness to like, he was stepping out of 3D art to help me figure things out. And I was like, dude, he's the kind of guy that I would want to work with in the
Yeah.
future. And so we didn't end up actually working together, but he became a lifelong friend kind of person. We check in pretty regularly, and yeah, I just really
And he
excited
showed
to
you
now.
what you can do, and here you are starting to pass that forward. So, like,
Yeah.
I love the
Mhm.
continuity. He graduated in 2018. That's where I got that from. Funny.
Could be, yeah. Um, in fact, a lot of the interviews I had were because of his referrals. I got interviewed at Activision 9 times, underneath the umbrella of Activision 9 times, including Toys for Bob.
9 times.
Hmm. And it was because of that.
And you
Because
still
of
smile. You're still a positive person. You know how many people after like rejection number two, they're like, I'm done.
no, you gotta love rejection. That's for
You
sure.
gotta get you gotta get used to it for sure.
Yeah, you gotta like be like, okay, next. And
Yep.
honestly, there's this thing that I would love for everybody to embrace, which is like angry applying, where like you're like, fine, I don't need this anyway. I got 10 applications out today. Like, and then that got me forward a lot too. I'm like, I lost this one. But anyway, yeah, the mid-level stuff would be like game
Game jam.
jams. Um, they push your skills and they build your social a lot, and you really kind of figure out where you fit in a project, and like
Mm.
also where your passion is, uh, endurance wise. Um,
Facts.
because once your passion is depleted, it's raw skill at that point about like what you can just do because you're dead. You know, you're just like, okay, we can freaking do this, and you gotta talk yourself into it, be like, this is fun, right? And like you're like melting in your seat, but you know,
This
you
is
just
what
got
I went to school for.
this is what I got to do for the rest of my life. You know, like, yeah, it's exactly. So that's the mid-level thing. But
Okay.
it's not just, again, it's not about the job possibilities. It's about building incredible relationships.
Yes.
Um, the early game dev mixers, one of those people from Ubisoft ended up being one of my first portfolio reviewers. So they were one of the people that I was like, hey, you're like the biggest person I know right now. Can you just kind of rough view? He was a
This is any
designer.
good.
Yeah, and he gave me a pass. He never responded to any of my messages after that, which is whatever. Thank you
You got
when
what
I
you
got
did.
it. Yeah. Um, and then sure enough, the next one would probably be, so there's the small like 10 people thing, and then there's game jams, usually about 50 people involved, maybe 25, something like that. And then we're talking about like maybe 100, 250 would probably be like just, I don't know, packs. No, that's thousands.
Yeah, you're getting bigger.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna have to like skip to like maybe Unreal Fest, which is like
That's what I was thinking. Talk
two
to
or
me
three
about what you
thousand.
know best.
Yeah.
Mr.
So
Unreal himself.
yeah. So I am a huge fan of Unreal. I don't know if these people know, but
He's a big
un, un,
fan, you guys.
I'm the Unreal Chicago chapter lead for Epic Games. Like I organize the chapter events every month here. We have one this Saturday, actually.
Okay.
Um, I got pictures I got on my socials. You can check them out if you have them. Um, but we have the largest chapter in the country now. So we started out with like 10 people, right? 5 people in a classroom. And I've been building it up, and I met the right people who are in touch with a lot of other industry people across film and cinema, game development, um, all that. And it's just been booming. It just took off. And so as of like last month, we're the largest chapter in the country for Unreal
I'm
Engine. So
so proud of
yeah. Yeah,
you.
I love this stuff. So Yeah. Um, but our events actually average right now about 75, 60, 75 people. So that's the next step, right? It's a little bit more organized, it's a little bit more elevated. You come dressed up, you don't smell funny. Uh, you have things that you're already interested in. We have about 10 demo tables every month. So people have laptops or VR setups and
Okay.
they are always picture and photo opportunities. And like one guy just got pulled into like a cinema experience and he was just a VR developer, designer, like prototyping stuff. And he just got hired like literally off the floor, which was like we did that, it was so cool.
Really?
Um yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, the film industry in Chicago is freaking huge, and they're using Unreal a lot more now. Um,
Interesting.
and so I'm at this like precipice convergence point right now where interest is happening and film technology is blending. And then we also have like music production. So we have a bunch of like John Mayer, Cardi B,
Hmm.
all of that that's happening over here too. And so I'm in a good spot, but I'm still gonna say that San Francisco is great just because my heart is there still. Um, and that there are plenty of opportunities there. You just kind of have to make them.
Yep.
Um, and so if
No,
you
it's
can't
never
find,
bad to work in different markets and different sectors, you guys. As someone that's worked on the East Coast, the middle of the
Mhm,
country, and the West
mhm,
Coast, it's
mhm,
a different vibe with different people everywhere you go. The more
mhm.
experience you get, the more people you interact with positively.
Yeah. And it's more defined. People when you're ambiguous, people don't really know what to approach you for.
Yes.
And so when you are like, I am this, there's no question they can think about you. I used to wear, I don't know if you remember this, but I used to wear Superman stuff at AAU all the
Oh,
time.
I absolutely remember this.
Yeah, and so I used to have like a Superman hat at
Yeah,
least all the time, but at any event, I used to have like a red cape and I had the logo on my chest and stuff. I have about 10 different shirts that have Superman stuff on them. And so it got to the point where everybody at school was calling me Superman because they couldn't remember my name. They didn't know that I was a game designer, but they knew I
doesn't
was good in
matter. You
Unreal.
made your own ego.
Yeah. And
Alter ego.
so and so it got to a point where you could have looked up hashtag Superman on Twitter and you would have found me, which was like really cool. And so I started growing my network there. I don't really use Twitter anymore, X,
Yeah,
whatever.
can't
But
imagine why.
and so yeah, I jumped over and I shedded all that stuff once I got my first job. I was like, okay, I don't need to hustle for the identity anymore. People don't need to
But it
know.
was a good way to start, and it was a really important lesson in defining identity and the
Mhm,
importance of
mhm.
self-marketing. No one's
Yeah.
going to market for you. No one's going to be
No.
your advocate, you guys. If you are not opening your mouth, if you are not doing something to make yourself stand out,
Hmm.
especially in today's AI saturated slop market, you are forgettable.
Hmm.
Just forgettable.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I learned that from a GDC talk where a guy used to wear a pink tuxedo to GDC. And I remembered that
He's
and
the
I was
pink
like,
tuxedo guy.
yeah. And he had like an Instagram following because of that pink tuxedo. And I
That's
was like,
great.
well, I want that, and that's when I started the Superman stuff. Also, Henry Cavill was like dreamy and I wanted to be dreamy. So anyway, um,
You also don't have to have a whole get up, you guys. We had a game student a few years ago who just brought a large 20-sided die, and she would walk around to people and be like, "You want to roll my die?" And we're like, "Yeah,
yeah,
I do." And it would
yeah,
start the conversation. Was she feeling a little crazy, walking around holding this stuffed pillow? Yes. Did it
yeah,
work? Yes. It started
yeah.
so many conversations.
Yeah, having some sort of identity is a good way for people to identify you. If
Yes.
you're trying to be average, then you're probably the passion and the ideas that you're bringing to the conversation for games specifically, or any kind of art, are probably also going to be not as
Rich.
inspired. Yeah. And so it's okay to like, I know that culturally in a lot of places it can be kind of shunned upon to stand out or be different or whatever. But like honestly, I would try to explore that and maybe get like an earring or do something, color your hair, do anything. Get some glasses that are kind of funky or like, I don't know, shave your
Or
beard.
lean into something you love. I have a
Yeah.
jacket that's covered in corgi shit because I have
Yeah,
corgis.
sure.
And
Yeah.
everyone knows me as the corgi person,
Hmm.
but it's like my thing, right?
Yeah.
He was Superman. I have
Yeah.
corgis. Figure out what your thing is because you
There
do
was
want to be memorable in a sea of people that are all gamers like you.
Yeah. Oh, and then that taps into the whole application process of like everybody having the same skills.
Oh
and
God.
like how do you stand out? And that's that whole persistent and insisting that you are the
You're the
person for
right
the
person
job
and
and
why.
the follow up and stuff. You need to be everybody else applying has the same skills, or that they might have more years or less years or whatever, but they did the same process that you did until you're the one following up.
They don't
And
have
then
the
it,
same story.
yeah,
We all have our
yeah,
own story and our
yeah,
own path, how we got someplace.
yeah. So back to Unreal Mixer events, 75 something people. Um, it's
How do you prep for something like that? I'm going to an Unreal event for the first time. I'm going to walk into a room with 75 people I don't know. What the hell do I do?
Oh, that's an interesting question that I probably should spend more time thinking about. Because
As the
I'm
head of the
creating,
event, yes, sir.
yeah, right. Well, so I haven't had that problem because people are already in, right? By the time I'm talking to them. But there are a lot of people who have no idea what Unreal is, and they just show up because a friend brought them, or they
Yep.
saw a thing that seemed cool. Our venue that we have has like blue lights and speakers everywhere, and it's
Eh,
pretty. We do a little bit towards the evening. We pump up the music just a little bit. Um, but yeah, people show up to have a cool thing. It's mostly about like you just show up and you never know the conversations you're gonna have. I have met the most inspiring people at these events. It's almost like if you were to go, I don't know, people can relate to this, but I had the most expensive gym membership in San Francisco at Equinox.
Equinox. I knew it.
Mhm. Yeah, and
Oh, look at him. He's still carrying his branded bottle around. You probably paid $800 for that, so I'm glad you still use it.
I put Epic Games on there and got Equinox. Yeah, it was like $70. It was not worth it. And this is actually my third one. I've lost two other ones. Um, but it's like the thing is you put yourself in the situation of premium conversations, and you put yourself in circumstances of premium ideas and people
Like
who are
paying for
go-getters.
access?
Yeah, I mean minus the paying for these events. People who show up to these events who do or don't pay, just like you guys showing up here, go the extra mile. These are the people that you want to have the conversations with of being like, so what do you think? These are the kinds of the people that put the extra effort and go above and beyond the people who kind of hit the bare minimum.
So
Um,
hold on, let's take 16 steps back. I need to have a conversation with this person. I don't even know how to walk up to you. I've never even met you before. What do I say? I've come to your event with someone we've never met. I just read your flyer on what the hell Unreal is, and now I'm supposed to walk up to you and do what?
So, what's really great about these events is everybody is a nerd, right? We have the forgiveness of social grace is not really a thing. So,
It's not your
and
strength usually.
yeah, and then also combine the fact that like it's actually completely acceptable to be like, hey, can I barge in? You have a group of people already talking, everybody's kind of got their shoulder to you or whatever. You can like pop in and be like, hey, how's it going? Every single person will give you their hand and shake it and just be like, hey, how's it going? It's just the way it is in any kind of meetup situation. You can be
Yeah.
socially awkward as long as you are social. That's better than standing in the corner looking at everybody
Yeah,
like
that ain't gonna do nothing for you.
making everybody feel like, does this guy want to be included? Oh, I feel bad for this guy. Now you got people in their feel bads, and that's uncomfortable. It's better for you to just kind of jump in and then just be like, hi, my name's Rob, and I'm a game designer, or I'm a 3D or concept. I'm really interested in this. I'm a student. I want to get started. Like, you don't even have to say I want to get started in the industry or anything. Like, don't even say that. Like, obviously you want to get started. You're a student. Um,
No, but
just
you're onto
tell,
something. Don't talk about work. Don't ask for things. Meet people.
yes, meet
Meet
people. Be
people.
like, I just want to know
Get to
what
know
you
each
guys
other.
are into. Yeah, what are you guys into? That's like the best way to go because you're starting them on a positive note.
Yeah.
Give them that call myself to give a kick in my back. That's funny. But you need to like you give yourself the forgiveness of the fact that like maybe you've never been there before. And then you show up and you got all these people. Everybody's interested in the same sort of things that you're interested in. But it helps to assume that they want to feel interested
Yeah.
in like you got to give them the interest first. And so you should always start being like, well, what do you do? What are you into?
Right. Don't talk
What are
about
you
yourself.
working on? Yeah. Yeah. And also don't even start with what do you do? Start with what are you working on or what are you excited about
What's the last thing you
lately?
played?
Yeah, what's the last thing you played? Those two are just great starter questions. And then by making them feel interesting and that you're interested in them, dopamine kicks in, they feel good talking to you, that's memorable, and
Yep.
then it gets reciprocated because now they're exhausted from talking and they want you to do it for them at some point. And now it's your
Yep.
turn. And
Yep.
now that's your doorway into like figuring out, not necessarily, like not super intentionally, but sort of showing them the things that you're passionate about in a way that might also be conducive to something that they're working on, or just be yourself and be like, yeah, um, I'm working on this project. I've been working real hard and I got this thing and I'm really excited about it. I hope it goes well. I'm submitting to the spring show. I don't know. Like you can always do all this. You just have to talk about what you got your nose in. Everybody's going to be interested in it. But
And it
obviously when
doesn't
you
have to be industry specific either. I've honestly gone to different industry events and I'll like see someone eating the taco, and that will be what I use to start the conversation. Be like, so is the taco good? I don't know. That line looks really long. Is it worth it? And that way they're just talking back to you about something completely trivial that doesn't matter because, for all you know, the person you're talking to just had someone come up and bore the hell out of them. And they don't want to have a conversation about their industry anymore.
hmm
They just want to have a conversation, having a good time with people. Networking events get such an interesting misnomer that you go and you have to pitch yourself and you have to have like your 60-second what do you do memorize, and if you don't come in and you say those things you bomb it. But
hmm
there's a big difference between an interview and a conference. And a
hmm
conference networking event is not an interview, nor should it be. It should be a dialogue, a low pressure, low risk dialogue where you are getting to know people that work in your same industry or work adjacent to your industry that have your same excitement. Yeah, Robbie, am I
hmm
saying it right?
Yeah, actually, so GDC, I met a lead game designer for Insomniac games at GDC, and I didn't know what he was again. And so I was just talking to him. I was at one of the food places nearby. It's like a sushi restaurant by GDC, by the Chipotle and stuff. There's like a sushi over there. Um, And so I was already eating there, and he sat next to me, and he had some really funky, cool hair, and he had like a purple shirt on. I'm like, this guy is like colorful. You could tell he's probably creative somehow. And I was just, he had a GDC badge, and I felt like maybe we had that in common. And I remember being like, so, any cool talks? And then also, what is that on his plate? He had some funky like sushi mountain, and just an interesting guy just from the glance. And I immediately saw that as a segue in. Uh, Found
And
out
it
later,
worked.
yeah, found out that he worked at Insomniac like a day later, a day into GDC. I bumped into him again and he had the badge and I actually could read it and it said Insomniac. And then I was like,
Like, what are the
ah.
chances? Hello again.
And so I just was like, again, play it cool. And I'm like, hey, what's up? And I felt
Let's
like
break
this
into
little,
the GDC talk because I want to make sure that like we're really preparing these kids
Mhm.
for a lot of you guys it's your first time going to something like this. So, first off, Garnet asked an excellent question, which is what do you have ready? What do you get ready before attending an event? So, like, what do you bring with you? What do you bring with you when you go to GDC?
as I come as light as possible. I have
Ditto.
my badge and I have like a really thin, because San Francisco's weather is pretty moderate. And so I have like a really thin jacket and a badge and like maybe a little like handbag of goodies and swag for like collecting and stuff. But like that's it. You don't
You
bring
don't
a
bring a
backpack,
backpack,
no tablet,
no
don't bring
laptop.
yeah, no laptop. You're gonna have conversations with people. If they want to see your LinkedIn or your portfolio, that's gonna happen after the event, or at least it should. All of the focus and energy is about going to the talks there and learning as much as you can, and maybe you make some contacts with some cool people, but aside from that, like it's not really about like getting a job. It's about learning how to get a job, I think is a better way of saying that, where you learn to talk the talk even more, just like any other
Practice.
event. Yeah, and just
Real life
just
practice.
just bonding and building these relationships. Most likely, you're not going to get hired at a place if you can't just be cool with somebody. Um, That's the biggest thing. You can have all the skills and hard skills, and that's what school is great for.
Vibes
And
are everything.
Mhm.
Vibes
But
are
you're
everything. Let's
yeah.
talk for a second because I agree, no laptops, none of that. If you happen to have a tablet that you have your work pre-downloaded that doesn't require Wi-Fi, because Wi-Fi is historically shit at these conferences, you guys don't rely on it.
Mhm.
Maybe have that ready to go just in case. But Catherine makes the perfect point, which is business cards. And you kind of brought it up with LinkedIn. I am all for digital, you guys. No one, we're not handing shit out anymore. We're just not. You get the card, you put it in a pocket, you've lost it. Digital, if you have a QR that someone can scan right there, boom, they can add you to their LinkedIn. Great. If you go into your LinkedIn app on your phone, at the
Mhm.
top, there's a little like QR symbol. When you tap that, it gives you the QR to your page so that you can literally be like, here you go, rather than, oh, what's your name? Oh, let me look you up. Oh, let me friend you. You want to make every interaction seamless, easy. Same with a
Mhm.
digital card. Make it a QR that they're scanning real quick, or make it so that your contact on your iPhone is saved so that when you do the little tappy tappy, you give them the information they need. But like
Mhm.
Robbie said, you're not going there to be like, hi, my name is Lauren. Let me give you all my contact information. Do you have time to look at my portfolio? Can you give me feedback on this? And also, are you hiring? Can I meet with your recruiter? Can we interview right now? Can I have the job? That's not what it is.
Right. Um, so there's actually a thing going around. I'm gonna actually share this with Lauren to like filter it yourself. I'm gonna
Yeah,
share
give
it
you the
directly.
permissions if you need to share screen.
Well, it's a thing that now you can like there's a watch and then there's like a lanyard type thing. And you can put your
Ooh.
a thing up to the phone and it'll immediately open the thing. You're not scanning a QR code anymore. It has like an RFI straight to
Uh-huh.
your URL and you
Yep.
just like boop it and then it opens straight to your portfolio. And so
Well,
you're
we
not
got a
handing out the
boop.
card. Yeah, yeah, there's always going to be a boop. Uh, was a QR code. That was like the last generation, I guess. But now it's like if you have an earring or if you have a lanyard with the GDC badge or if you have this fancy watch. I saw these two
Can.
things recently and you can literally tap it. And now they're doing embedded chips in the cards.
Ooh, child.
And
Of
so
course
now
they
you
are.
can just tap the card and then it opens up straight to the portfolio or whatever. And so
But if
there
you
are just
yourself do not have, don't invest money in these things right now, you guys. Wait until it's paid for by your companies or things like that. All you need is a LinkedIn that works. Like,
yeah,
keep it
yeah,
simple.
that's true. Yeah, just you can use a LinkedIn. Oh, you can actually get a QR code for free through Google Chrome. Uh, there's a share option in there. You click on the three dots in Google Chrome, and then you'll find like a share, and it'll be like generate QR code. And so if you go to your
Nice. You
LinkedIn,
can even
you can
generate your
just
own.
yeah, you just do that, and you can put it on your screen, or you can
Love it.
put it
Save it as a
anywhere.
picture so you can just pull it up, you guys. But that's
Yep.
pretty much it. He's not wrong. Come light. Every
Mhm.
year, I see people bring backpacks worth of shit. And first off, you have to go through security. It slows
Mhm.
everything down. And then
Mhm.
you are lugging that around for miles. If you've never been in Moscone, it is pure concrete that you are walking on. It is not a fun time. Don't make it
No.
worse for yourself. Wear
Yeah.
comfortable shoes.
Mhm.
Wear clean clothes. Layers are really good because while it can be cold, hot outside, it's almost always cold inside.
Mhm.
So just come prepared and
Mhm.
then come with it however you take notes because like he said, the talks are really what you're there for. And you might hear something great and you should be able to write it down, whether it's
Yep.
digital or by hand.
Yep. I'll also say that like so a couple notes is my first GEC, I had a backpack. It was a dumb idea. I don't remember what I had. I had a couple jackets maybe and like
Just
probably
in
I
case one, two,
probably
or three doesn't work, you need color
yeah.
options.
Yeah, I don't remember. Maybe I had my Superman hat in there. I don't remember what I did, but my feet were dead by day one.
You
And
have like 3 more days after that, you guys.
yeah, and it was just it was so bad. So just really just more emphasis on go as light as you can.
Yep.
And if maybe necessary, the school is not that far. Maybe you can like ask a classroom to like store stuff. You know, it's right around the corner. Maybe you can go up to like I think what's her name? The secretary on the game floor. Uh,
Celine.
Celine, yeah.
Our girl
Um,
Celine, although she works from home now. But
oh,
yes, you can absolutely swing by the building 180 New Montgomery. Let's talk about real quick just structure of GDC in case no one's ever done a conference like this. So conferences tend to last a set amount of days. And the last day is always going to be the shortest day because they usually wrap it early so that union crews can start breaking everything down. So most of the time you'll get like a 10 to 5 sort of schedule, and then a Friday will be a 10 to 3. You want to plan it out according to the talks that you want to go to. Go to the website for whatever the conferences you're attending, look at the schedule, figure out what really speaks to you. If it's a very popular event, it's going to have a huge line and you may not get in. So make a list of your first choice, your second choice, your third choice, so that if you get to something and you're like, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to get into this, you can go to your second choice. You're not like, well, how do I wait? I got to look at the calendar. Oh, I don't, oh, it's over there. Come prepared. Do all that before it even begins. And this is just the daytime, right? You
mhm.
go early, you get your badge, you meet up with your friends, figure out where the main points are, get a map. Download the app if it has an app. Although I have to say the GDC one historically has not been great and it crashes because Mosconi's Wi-Fi network is garbage. So maybe save on your phone anything that you would want to be able to reach. And I think it's good to have friends to meet up with, but I try not to go with my friends. I did not pay this much money to go hang out with someone that I could hang out with for free anytime. I am there to learn and to meet other people. So
Yeah.
try to put yourself in a place or in a way where you can be successful like that. Don't just attach yourself to your best buddy and only hang out with that
Mhm.
person unless they happen to run the studio you want to work at.
Also, I'll add to that that like also pace yourself
Ace
because
yourself.
because the event when it's over, that's not the end of GDC. The
No, no, no.
whole satellite soiree of events that happen after GDC is also where it's at. That's actually where the real networking happens because people have calmed down. They're not in
That's
a
what I
hurry to
want to
go to
talk
things.
about because some people don't even know what this is yet, Robbie.
I
So
didn't either
you
until
go
my
to the
last year.
conference. How do
Yeah.
you first off even find out what it is you're talking about? Like, how do you even find the events to go to?
You got to talk to people and be like, what are you doing after this? And hang out at the parks and sit down with random groups of people with the badges and be like, how's it going, guys? So what are you doing when,
Is this your
at the
first conference?
yeah, and
You got a
and but
snow cone?
yeah, but also just really kind of what are you doing after this? A lot of people will be like, I'm wiped. I'm gonna go back to my hotel or I'm gonna, but you want to like find those people again, just like what you guys are doing, that go the extra mile to really make the most of this thing. And those are the conversations, the one-on-ones that really happen. And yeah, there's alcohol that might be involved, and those are even more conversations that will happen. But not necessarily. There's so the W, this is a key thing that I didn't realize until after I had already had my first job, is that the W is a big, it's right on the corner. So you come out of Masoni
The
and
hotel,
yeah,
just in
but
case
the
no one knows
first
what you're saying.
yeah, but it's got a big like white W on the thing. You can see it on the corner of this building. It's got this like statue figure up on the building or whatever. But anyway, the W, just look it up or whatever. Um, that is where like a lot of the industry, like veterans and legends will hang out after GDC. This is where like the big people who are like
The rich
people
ones,
the ones, yes, who have investments or
people that
are
have money.
investors. Yeah. And then it's also like people I met some of the people that have been in the industry for like 10 and 20, almost 30 years and it was a high concentration of them there. And I didn't find out about that till long after I had graduated. So, um
So there's a sneak, the W. Otherwise, talking to people. You can look online.
mhm.
Big companies that are going to be there, they almost all have some sort of mixer. So you could even be going up to the booths, like when you go to the Unreal or the Epic booth to get your free T-shirt or popcorn or whatever. Say, I'm sorry, can I confirm what time was the mixer tonight and where was that again?
Yeah.
All right. Don't
Mhm.
wait to be invited, you guys. Kick the
Yeah.
door down.
Yeah. And
No
then
one
do
advocates for you.
yeah, and also look on like meetups or anything like that. And then there was an events channel in the Discord. I used to post stuff there all the time for industry events in San Francisco. Um, but you could probably find a lot of meetups that are happening during GDC. You can find they're going to be there. I know for sure there's supposed to be a big one at like Club Temple. I don't remember what day. There might actually be three of them at the same location. But I want to emphasize that you need to pace yourself. Like if you need to go home and take a nap right after GDC and you want
Do
to
it.
shower to like do a reset, do that. But also make sure that you're eating breakfast. Make sure you eat lunch. Make sure that you're drinking all kinds of water. Um, I
Let's have
have
a
seen
safety
people.
talk really fast about these events at night,
Hmm.
especially as a females in
Yeah,
the game space, which tend to be
rare.
outnumbered drastically.
Yes.
Um, let's talk about how we can be safe at these things because there is drinking. There
Mhm.
are sometimes vices offered to you that you never have to do anything. Don't make peer pressure.
Yeah.
You drinking with someone that you just met will not be why you get the job, my friend. Right? Like
No.
you are there for work, so keep your brain focused on the goal.
As a professional, you are there as a professional, not necessarily
Professional.
for work, but you want to be a representation of yourself and you can't be sloppy. You can be loose. If that's kind of, if you're familiar with that, do that. But if you're not, don't let GDC be the first place that you
Please
figure
don't.
that out. Don't do that.
And
Um,
go that this is an event where it is to go good to go with people you know. If you are
yes.
going to an industry after hours event and you
Hmm.
don't know anyone, even if it's just someone you just met at school, but it's someone that you went to school, like go with someone that knows who you are, let your
Hmm.
friends know. Every year, unfortunately, there are reports of bad actors that kind
Yeah.
of ruin the party for everyone. And
Yeah.
so protect yourself, please.
Yeah, I would say always go with somebody if you can. And if you can't, then don't drink. That would be a smart
Correct.
trade, right? Like be sober at least in those situations unless you're around people you trust. And then also like, yeah, just I don't know. So when you go to these after party events, people will be more likely to walk up to you and start the conversations. So this isn't so much about safety as it is like just addressing the concern of awkwardness again, of just like, okay, now we're not talking about like dodging each other for the GDC talks. Now we're talking about actually like being in these spaces at night, possibly alcohol. How do you like approach these situations? The conversations will be a lot more fluid and a lot more fueled. Um, and and so
Vice fueled.
yeah. And so what ends up happening, what happened for me at this W thing is I skipped GDC actually to put all my energy into this W after stuff. Not the entire thing. I went to a couple talks or whatever, but I ended up skipping it. And I went to this thing, and sure enough, like the people that I saw there yesterday, were there again today, and it was really cool because now we're a little bit more familiar with each other. And so I started talking to them, and they introduced me to like the head of programming at Respawn. And I was like, okay, this is cool. What's up? I'm cool. You're cool. I was like, I was still like, I
Throwing it
had
out, throwing it out, throwing it out.
yeah, exactly. And so I just like meeting all these people, and it just started coming at me like so fast. It was like, oh, this guy has been in the industry for 25 years as an audio engineer. He made it as like a sound effects guy. And it's so hard, I think, to like make it in these like niche roles or whatever. But these people at this place did it. And so being in the space with them and picking up on their vibe and their body language and all that stuff like really just it goes up really long way. And so you can get the technical stuff and the hard skills from school and from GDC courses and whatever that you pay for, but these social things are the things that will really like get you somewhere.
Make or break
um
here for sure.
yeah, yeah, if you're not relatable and people can't want to work with you through the interview because you can't convey your ideas and talk in a way that's inspired and articulate, they're probably going to question whether or not they want to work with you. So
How
it's
do you
just,
pick who to network with? Like, there's only so much time at a conference.
Yeah. So again, at GDC, it's not about who you're going to network with there exactly. Maybe you bump into people, maybe you're sitting next to somebody, you exchange information. But at these after things, that's where you find out the real personality, where people are like, listen up, and these are really outgoing, or maybe they're like closed off and strict, or maybe they're superior and they got their nose up, and they're like, you kind of will see that. So what I always did is if I was going to a new space, and I did it a lot, and I did a lot out here too in Chicago. I'm the new guy, right? So I came to these events and I kind of just chill in the corner for a little bit and I sit and
Read
I
the room.
observe. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just like, okay, who are the people? Who do I need to? But I show like I'm important because I am. I'm a badass and I'm here and people need to know this. And so, yeah, I sit there like I'm supposed to be here. This is where
that's
I'm
right.
supposed to be.
You want to come talk to me? I don't need to
Yeah,
come talk to you.
right. And then how that works is I've got the most comfortable seat in the bedroom. I mean the bedroom, the room, and I'm sitting on the couch
Boardroom.
or whatever. Yeah, whatever space it is, right? And now people are coming to me. They're like, "So what do you do?" You got the more awkward people who don't know what to do in those situations and they kind of hug the wall,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden they're standing next to me because I'm on the wall on the most comfortable seat. And then they're like, "So what do you do?" And then another person comes, and I'm the most comfortable. And so that ends up being like, hey, have you met so and so?
Yeah.
And so these people start being like, hey, that's the guy that was the most comfortable. And I'm like, look, I'm smart. I'm sitting here. And that ends up being the talking
Called
point of,
old age too, my friend.
we don't got to talk about that. We don't got to talk about that right now. Um,
Okay, sit down. These feet hurt.
but it's just also smart. Like I want to pace myself too. So when I'm tired of sitting, I'll get up. And then I still have that seat available because everybody else is already settled into their like spots or whatever. And so yeah, that's just the way to go. Is like, how do you figure out who to network with? You find a spot, observe the room, kind of wait for like the natural thing. Don't sit on your phone. Don't be on
Correct.
your phone
Oh, wait,
and
one
just
more
be like,
time.
yeah, do
Don't
not
sit on your
be
phone.
on your phone. Yeah,
Your phone is not
just
going to hire you. Your phone is not going to introduce you to people. Your phone can't answer your question. Well, it can, but come on, guys. Like, you're there to talk to people.
new
Do
people,
the
new
thing.
ideas. Yeah. And also just building those connections and stuff. So that's how you figure out who to
Don't
talk to
look at
though.
the weather forecast.
Yeah. That's not even important. You're inside right now.
Nerd.
Yeah. So,
But do think of your nerdy question. Do think of like, okay, so if I'm going to walk up to people I don't know, like, what's the question that I can ask? Even if it's the same question you ask every time, like, hey, is this your first GDC? What's your
mhm,
favorite game to play?
mhm,
What is the best thing you've seen here today? What's the most delicious thing you've eaten? Did you see where
mhm,
the snacks were? Are there snacks? Where did you get that cool t-shirt? Oh my God, I love your pin. What does it
mhm,
say? Always
mhm,
asking about other people, not talking about yourself.
mhm,
They'll ask you about you when they're ready to open up and connect with you.
mhm.
You do the opening by asking them the questions and getting them to open up.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I wanted to review the fact that not everyone can afford to go to conferences like GDC. And the cool part about the academy is that we really do work to try to bring opportunities to you. So, for those of you that will be attending GDC next week, or at least in San Francisco Bay Area, we have 4 different events happening on site at 180 New Montgomery, where we are bringing studios to you so that you still have a chance to attend a talk, to get a portfolio review, to connect with people. We've got Cyber Connect 2 coming on Tuesday, which is hilarious. They actually stole one of our game teachers last time they came here last year. He now moved to Japan and works for them. So, like, come on, guys, they want us, obviously. We've got Virtuous Games. If you're really into animating for games, that's an amazing workshop. This is, I think, their second or third year doing it. Tencent will be doing in-person reviews. If you want to have your work reviewed, get ready to receive feedback in front of everyone in the room. And honestly, it's one of the best experiences you can give yourself. Like, find your chutzpah and put yourself out there because you're going to learn more about yourself and how you handle critique from an audience, and it's going to push you further. And then lastly, and I'm very, very biased on this, but at GDC a few years ago, I saw this guy doing amazing portfolio reviews with students. And I was like, look at this guy go. And I had never met him before. And he was working for EA Games at the time. And so I went over and I was like, wow, you're so good at this. And this feedback is amazing. Would you mind coming and giving some feedback to some of my students back at our booth? And he followed me back, gave feedback for like the next hour and a half to my students, then went on to work for Meta. Now he's at 2K Games, and Daniel will be joining me on Thursday. He specifically asked for us to have a conversation, kind of like the one you and I are having tonight, Robbie, where it is a no bullshit conversation. We are talking about what the industry looks like, why games is struggling, what it's really going to look like in the future, how many layoffs there's been, how you can prepare for something like a layoff. It's going to be a real honest conversation. So, really hope to see you guys there. I would like to open it up for the last few minutes if anyone has any questions for our most awesome rock star. Robbie, this is exactly what I thought it was going to be. I knew you were going to come with such good ideas and advice, and I so appreciate you taking the time and just sharing your guidance with us. It makes everyone better when we lift each other up. So you're
Mhm.
amazing.
Thank you.
Any questions from our audience, to whom I am very grateful for being here? Look at that. You're getting digital claps from people. I love it.
Saw it floating over here. That's cool.
All right. Well, then, thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful night. Thank you, Robbie.
Hmm.
Hopefully, we'll see you at a conference or two in the future. Do you mind putting your LinkedIn in the chat so that people can connect with you that are here tonight? Since we're teaching them all how to network, let's start with you.
Yeah, yeah. I'll actually do my link tree right
Look
here.
at that. The
You
full
could
tree, you
you just
guys. You don't just get
add
a bush, you get a tree.
add me however it works for you guys. That's actually another secret, by the way. Don't force everybody into LinkedIn if they're not comfortable. Have a link tree ready so they can add you in any kind of way that works for them.
Okay, show off. I love these tips. When are you gonna come teach? I'm ready for it. All right, you guys, have a wonderful night. Thanks again. Bye.